Caleb from Brownells here, and in today's quick tip, I want to talk about recoil spring material, or just spring material in general, to be honest. Because a question we get a lot, especially when dealing with recoil springs, is chrome silicone or stainless steel? What spring should I get? Because especially for the AR-15, you can get either or. So there's definitely differences between the two. So the one that's like shiny here, that's noticeably shinier and silverer, we're gonna go with silverer. That is the stainless steel recoil spring, and the one that is sticking to the magnet on my sling retainer here, this one is the chrome silicone. So noticeable differences in just like visual inspection there, but there's also differences in longevity, quality of the material, and things like that go. So generally speaking, I say generally speaking because you can get like really cheap off-brand stainless steel or chrome silicone recoil springs and they'll absolutely suck. So make sure you're buying from reputable manufacturers with that kind of stuff. Don't get on Temu and start ordering recoil springs, okay? That is not the way to do it. But with that being said, stainless steel recoil springs are more resistant to corrosion and rust, things like that. And your chrome silicone springs are more, I don't want to say more better because that absolutely sounds weird to say. I know I am from Louisiana, but we're not going to do that. The chrome silicone springs actually are better material-wise as far as being an actual spring goes, because they take less initial set. So set is whenever you have a spring and you start using that spring. Like I'm compressing this thing, right? If I compress it, keep it compressed or just cycle it, keep it going through compression cycles, it'll actually get a little bit shorter initially, and then it'll stop getting shorter for a while, and then the more you use that spring, it'll gradually get shorter. That's how springs work. Once they get too short, they can be considered worn out and you need to replace them, right? So chrome silicone springs, all right, let's just kind of use round count as an example here, just to make things super simple. So let's say I have a stainless steel spring, and let's say it wore out after 3,000 rounds, okay? So when I say wore out, I mean it got too short to function properly and isn't as springy as it should be. So with those 3,000 rounds, this chrome silicone spring may have only taken a quarter, or in some cases an eighth of that set, which means these things last way longer under the same conditions. So chrome silicone springs will definitely last longer, assuming again you didn't order it off of some weird website you shouldn't be on. But with that being said, I mean, let's just use this gun as an example here. So this is my BRN4, and in this gun I have the BCM Mark II recoil mitigation system. And I will also note that the standard mil-spec spring in most cases, especially like with your M4s and stuff, is a stainless steel spring, just because of the situations that those guns are used in. It makes sense to use stainless steel springs. Stainless steel springs are also a little bit cheaper to manufacture than the chrome silicone springs, in most cases. I'm speaking generally here. But this is the BCM Mark II recoil mitigation system. And this is my favorite recoil spring setup, period. It is, it's not carbine length, it's not rifle length, it's Mark II length, which is interchangeable with A5 length. If you don't know if I'm literally speaking a foreign language to you right now, go check out our other videos on that. We explained it pretty good there. So obviously with that, chrome silicone is my preferred go-to, just because I'm never in a situation where I'm going to be letting recoil springs corrode, because generally speaking, I'm in situations where I can take my gun apart and clean it and get any moisture and stuff like that out. So these are definitely a better value for me, and these are what I recommend. Now, I'm not saying if you watching it, if you're watching this video and you crack open your gun, whether it be a handgun, AR-15, whatever, and you see that there's a stainless steel spring in it, don't go run out and replace that spring. It's fine. Just consider maybe upgrading on your next time you got to change it out. Which, generally speaking, on handguns, I recommend changing out recoil springs at least every 5,000 rounds. Sooner, depending on how you're shooting your gun, what type of ammo, stuff like that. Now, before we close it out, little bonus point here. I'm just going to give you some quick recoil spring maintenance tips. Whenever you install your recoil spring or you take it apart to clean it, just wipe it down. Don't put any oil on it, because that's gross. Recoil springs get really gross. You can see all the... I've been shooting the heck out of this thing suppressed, so mine's pretty dirty right now. But what I do recommend using, something, I have it underneath here. This is a product we sell here. It's called Pistol Pro Mag Slick. So it's basically just a dry film lubricant for your magazines. Hornady also makes a really great one as well. There's other companies out there, Otis, any of the dry film lubricants, or what you want to go with here. But I just take my recoil spring, spray this sucker down real good, and you can see that it starts drying almost immediately. And I don't even wait for it to dry. I just throw this sucker back in there because it's going to dry pretty quick anyway. And that's all you got to do to your recoil spring. So buy one of these products here. Of course, we do sell all this stuff at Brownells. And that's all there is to it. So that's kind of the gist of recoil spring materials and a quick bonus on how to take care of your recoil springs. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to add to this, I didn't get super nerdy with it. I know some of you guys are out there. Just drop that stuff down in the comments. But if you need help with anything for any reason ever, feel free to give us a call on the tech line. We'll be happy to help you out. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.